So yeah, this is Nestor over here at West Steps at LA City Hall. This is the Southern California United for Marriage Lighting the Way event. We have more than 100 people who came today. So fantastic turnout. We have several organizations such as Latino Equality Alliance, Love, Honor, Cherish, and Metropolitan Church, and all the other organizations. So as you can hear though, there's a lot of traffic. It's Palm Sunday, so can't be helped. So we have several media outlets here. As you can see KCAL 9, KTLA, ABC News, and we also have some more supporters coming in from the Metro Station, Civic Centers, and then we have the police department here. And yeah, wonderful collection of folks coming in today. So we will have several speakers coming in. And as you can hear, I'll go silent. We're having a few, the MCC choir singing, Albonanza, I think it's the name. So I'll show you in a minute.
So we have small
Dios llama. Ven tal como eres tú, ven y ven, recibirás. Ven y vive por siempre, vida abundante, fuerza y poder, prueba el agua viva, y ya no tendrás sed, vida abundante, fuerza y poder, prueba el agua viva, y ya no tendrás sed. Ven tal como eres, escucha a Dios llamar. Ven tal como eres tú, ven y ven, recibirás. Ven y vive por siempre, vida abundante, fuerza y poder, prueba el agua viva, y ya no tendrás sed. Vida abundante, fuerza y poder, prueba el agua viva, y ya no tendrás sed. Ven tal como eres, escucha a Dios llamar. Ven tal como eres tú, ven y ven, recibirás. Ven y vive por siempre. Amén.
So I believe the name of the organization here that sung was MCC Albananza from MCC Church, which is the Latino chorus, the Spanish chorus I meant. As you can see, the people with the bandanas that say a monitor, they're making sure there's enough space between speaker and the audience.
What do we want? When do we want it? Yesterday! Don't we want it yesterday? It's far too long. We've been waiting for marriage equality in this country for far too long, and we will not wait. The reality is there's a groundswell of acceptance of marriage equality not only in this country but around the world. And now we're at 60% of the United States agree that marriage equality should be extended to lesbian and gay people, and ultimately throughout this country and throughout this world. We've been waiting far too long for this moment, and we're in the moment of history. Throughout this country, there are rallies just like this tonight, tomorrow, and all the way through the time that the Supreme Court will be gathering. And people of faith just like me have been in this fight for too long with you. We've been fighting alongside you. I know that the Christian church and people of faith get a bad rap, but I want to tell you there's a progressive voice in this United States who are saying we're on the right side of history. We understand that the God that we worship is a God of love and a God of justice. And justice rolls down like waters upon the Supreme Court this week. And we know that ultimately they will come out with the best decision possible, that marriage denied for anyone is marriage denied for everyone. So we are just tickled pink. That's why we're in red this evening. You know, I wondered whether there would be pink smoke over the Vatican when the new Pope was elected. Well, there's pink smoke over the Supreme Court this week, and there's fairy dust being sprinkled all over the United States. And not only over the United States, but across this world, because other countries have already stood before the United United States, and they've already granted marriage equality to their citizens. And it's time that the United States, the most progressive country in the world, stands alongside every single one and says that we support our lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender citizens, sisters and brothers, and that they have the right to marry just like everybody else. So, how many single people do we have in the audience this evening? Okay, all these folks, they're going to be looking not just for dates, but they're going to be looking for weddings. And we know, yeah, look at you all. I tell you, you're a pretty bunch of people. We know that when marriage equality comes, it comes with some responsibilities. And we also know that when marriage equality comes, there's going to be some folks who are not going to be very happy. And I pray and I hope that in this time, when it comes out on our favor, that we don't do what other people did to us. I pray that we might embrace the reality that it might take some people a little while to catch up with the reality that marriage equality is here. And that we might not spew out some of the stuff that they've spewed out at us. Because two wrongs have never made a right in this country. I really want to hope that we'll do things differently this time. Even if the Supreme Court, in their naivety, perhaps comes out against us. I don't believe that's possible, but even if it does, I just pray that we'll stay in this fight for the long haul, all the way through to victory. Our African American sisters and brothers had to wait for their day, and we will wait for our day, but not much longer. We're going to make it real this time, and we're going to make it win. California, you've heard us. You've listened. There are enough Supreme Court people out there who know that they're going to do the right thing, and we're going to claim it this evening. I've been asked to give an invocation because they want to make sure that this is a peaceful rally, but I can't help but scream and shout every now and again and just be all excited because I know that I'm going to be busy again, marrying lots and lots of LGBT couples just like that. And celebrating those marriages. And I'd say to my religious friends, that even though they might not want to marry lesbian and gay people in their churches or in their temples or in their synagogues, there are plenty of rabbis and imams and clergy, just like my colleague over here and over here, whose doors are going to be wide open to celebrate your weddings, and we know that you're going to want us to be a part of that. So we're very grateful. We're very happy, and we're very much looking forward to June and Pride Month and marriage equality in the United States of America. Just to take a moment, because there's going to be a lot more speeches than just me. So let's just take a moment, let's pause, let's connect our hearts and minds with rallies all across this country, in Washington, in San Diego, here in Los Angeles, in 50 states across this nation. The growing momentum is for marriage equality and for equal rights for all people. And that's a great joy. So we pray to the universe, to the God of our understanding, to the God that is known to some of us and to many of us, to the God who has no name, to the God who has many names. And we ask that universe to hear us this evening and to bring a resounding win for equality for all our lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender sisters and brothers, because justice denied for one of us is justice denied for all of us. Amen? Marriage equality! Okay, I have the great honor of inviting our next speaker up, and he's a good colleague and a friend and has been in this fight with us for a long time too. He's going to be taking over office very shortly from one of our out gay council members here in the City Hall, and I have the great joy to welcome Council Member-elect Mike Bonin. Let's welcome him this evening.
He's a council member of District 11, if I recall.
Good evening, Los Angeles. Good evening, sisters and brothers. Good evening, family. We've stood here many, many times. We have stood here in sorrow, and we have stood here in joy. We have stood here in outrage, and we have stood here in exultation. It was just 4 years ago, days after President Obama was elected, that we stood right here, tens of thousands of us, voicing our outrage at the civil rights that had been stripped away from us here in California. It is amazing today, just 4 years later, to see how far we have come. It is amazing today to know that though we had to push him hard just a few short months ago, we had the President of the United States say on national television that he supports marriage equality. A moment unimaginable when I was growing up. It is important to note that right now you can serve openly in the United States military, something that was unimaginable just a few years ago. Today people drive by and honk in praise and in encouragement, something that was unimaginable a few years ago. National polls now show 50, 60, 60+% of the population of the United States supports our full and equal civil rights, something that was unimaginable just a few years ago. And in just a few days, the highest court in this land will hear arguments. And if they are so persuaded, we can finally eradicate the equality bubbles in this country so that people in every state, in every town, no matter how blue or how red, can have the same rights, can have full federal equality in all matters governed by civil law. It is unimaginable that we have come so far and so fast. Our country has changed. Our state has changed. Our politics has changed. But what swells my heart tonight is that we have changed.
That's right.
I look out at this crowd tonight, and I see Los Angeles. And I see America. I look out at this crowd, and I see male and female. I see old and young. I see people of faith and people not of faith. I see people of multiple faiths. I see people of different colors and different backgrounds. I see someone dressed in leather. I see someone in a lavender sweatshirt and pigtails. And frankly, our community is diverse enough that we could actually have somebody who's doing both at the same time. We have, over just the past few years, changed who we are. We have created a movement. We have come together. We have come to celebrate our diversity and to celebrate our strength and to change this country and to empower ourselves. And I really want to acknowledge that it was the upstarts who did that.
That's right.
I want to acknowledge tonight people like Robin McGehee, a teacher from Fresno who was furious with being abandoned in the red portion of California and who wanted to be able to tell her children that she belonged to a country that respected her rights and their rights. I want to stand up tonight and acknowledge Dan Choi, who changed himself to the White House and said, I deserve my rights and so do you. I want to acknowledge Chad Griffin, who did not listen to the best legal scholars in the world, who said, no, I want to act now. I want to marshal our resources. I want to take this fight to court. It was the people who didn't listen. It was the people who decided that it was okay to be impatient with injustice. It was okay to be outraged with the lack of equality, who have fueled this movement and who have given it strength and given it voice. We have created something entirely different. We have changed not this country, not just this country, we have changed ourselves. No matter what begins to happen on Tuesday, this is a victory for all of us. This is a victory for all of us. Look around at who we have become, and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you. And I have the pleasure of acknowledging another warrior in our battle, John O'Connor, the new Executive Director of Equality California.
Thank you. It is an extraordinary honor to be up here as the new Executive Director of Equality California. I'm up here because the mission of equality is the work to which I have dedicated my life. As a gay person, I never dreamed I could have a job like this, or a life like this, or a community like this, or prospects for full equality like what we have today. If we had settled for the limited tolerance or acceptance years ago that initially felt so good, we would have sold ourselves short. I don't know about you, but tolerance is not enough for me. Today, we are for full equality and nothing less. We are on the cusp of extraordinary breakthroughs. And it's been exactly 4 years, 4 months, and 20 days since Prop 8 passed. That's recent enough that it still really stings. The dignity of our relationships was kicked in the teeth. And yet, it is long enough that the world has changed dramatically. We have seen 4 wins on the ballot measures recently across the country, and there has been a landslide shift in public opinion in favor of marriage equality. The shift has been because of the national dialogue that Prop 8 triggered. The shift is because the world has a deeper understanding of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people in all of our humanity, in all of our diversity. The shift is because that we have all had the courage to tell our stories to the world and show them that we are not a threat. We are winning the hearts and minds of people all across the state and all across the country. We may have lost at the ballot in 2008, and if the story had ended there, it would have had a sad ending. But that was not the end. The ending is about to unfold in front of us. None of us know what the Supreme Court will decide, but I can say with absolute certainty that we will achieve full marriage equality. It is just a question of when and by what path. Maybe the Supreme Court will settle it for California in June, maybe not. No matter what, the movement for full equality and nothing less is unstoppable. And let's not be short-sighted. We do not close up shop and go home once marriage is settled. Rather, it should serve as an inspiration. It should serve as hope of what is possible. Isn't an epidemic of bullying and youth suicide as pressing, if not more pressing, than the freedom to marry? Don't we demand full transgender equality and inclusion? Aren't we outraged that gay seniors still go back in the closet when they go into nursing homes? Shouldn't our outdated immigration policies be updated now? I say yes to all of that. Great. Thank you. Now I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Tristan Reese and his beautiful family. Tristan from the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force.
Thank you so much. Any of you with a 2-year-old know it's very difficult just to keep her in one place, so I appreciate your patience with that. So yes, I'm Tristan. I'm from the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force. And you know, I'm really standing here today holding my childhood with me. I'm from Lancaster, California. Yeah. I thought maybe one person would be like, yeah, no, dead silence. Thank you. But for those of us who are from Bakersfield, like my partner, or Fresno, or I'm thinking Barstow, Lancaster, thank you. You know that even though the nation thinks that California is a liberal bastion, that for those of us who live 45 minutes in any direction did not have the same access to role models, to supportive grown-ups, to often parental families that told us that we had a future. So when I came out when I was 16, I believed that I was making the decision to be authentic to myself. And I believe that I was making the decision at the cost of ever having a family. Because 15 years ago, I did not think that I could come out and be transgender, that I could come out and be gay, and that I could stand in front of a group of my people, with my kids, with my partner who I'm going to marry in September. home and I have a place. So I am here to remind us all that while some of us have our families and our chosen families, that not all of us, even in California, get that. So when that Supreme Court decision comes down, and when it comes down in our favor, those kids in Fresno and Barstow, in Lancaster and Palmdale will be able to say, oh shit, I have a future. And make no mistake, I'm so glad to hear John say that we do not stop working.
That's right.
In 3 months when one decision comes down, because my transgender brothers and sisters are still knocking on that door, waiting for us to let them in. And the movement for civil rights to end racism has not ended.
Yes.
It is on us to stand tall and stand true next to our brothers of color and our sisters of color, and remember that we are not the next generation of the civil rights movement. We are standing in the strong and steady stream of civil rights, and we owe it to them and we owe it to ourselves to keep moving. So I stand with you today, side by side, with someone who has loved and supported me in a way that I never thought was possible for myself. And I stand with children who have taught me what it means to be a parent, what it means to love unconditionally, what it means to be challenged and supported every single day. And for all those sleepless nights, it has been worth it. So I hope for all of you that no matter what happens, we remember that yesterday we were bold and we were strong and we were brave. And tomorrow we will be the same, and whether or not that decision comes down for us, we are a bold and brave and strong and powerful and resilient people. So I hope the Supreme Court comes down in our favor. I hope it does, and I hope that we do not hinge our self-worth on that decision.
That's right.
Because we are resilient and we are powerful. And what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. We have learned that from our forefathers. We will teach it to our children. We will teach it to every generation of oppressed people that comes after us. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for reaching out to the next generation and holding the hands of those who have come before us. And we honor them today. And we honor those of us who are able to stand tall and true in circumstances of extreme oppression. And I'm about to introduce to you someone who has stood tall and stood brave, and today continues to stand tall and brave for our veterans. And I am delighted to introduce to you my new friend, Tracy Cooper Harris, and her beautiful wife.
My name is Tracy Cooper Harris, and this is my beautiful wife, Maggie. And I am a U.S. Army veteran who served from 1991 to 1999, and then again in 2002 to 2003 for Operation Enduring Freedom, and then the beginning part of Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Woo! Thank you.
And like you, we are excited to see the Supreme Court take up the challenges that can restore marriage equality again here in California and strike down the Defense of Marriage Act.
Together, with the help of the Southern Poverty Law Center and the law firm of Wilmer & Hale, we are challenging DOMA in Title 38 in the federal courts. Here in California in 2008. We married for the same reasons as many other couples. We wanted to show our love and commitment for one another, to our families and friends and community. We wanted to raise a family together and spend our lives with someone who would be our biggest advocate and supporter through the good times and the bad.
And let me tell you something, Maggie has been there for me since we became a couple in 2005. She has never left my side throughout my struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder, or the challenges we now face with my diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is an incurable disease that attacks the brain and the central nervous system. And despite these challenges, it's a relief to know that I'm not alone in my battle. Maggie's in my corner. So, as you can figure, facing MS has made me take a step back and examine our priorities. I started making end-of-life decisions, which included applying for disabled veterans benefits for my spouse. And these are the same benefits that are available to spouses of other disabled veterans. And although my illnesses are considered service-related by the Department of Veterans Affairs, they have denied those spousal benefits to Maggie because she is not a man. Thanks to a law that came before DOMA called Title 38 of the Code of Federal Regulations, the VA defines spouse and surviving spouse as a person of the opposite sex who is a husband or a wife. So even if the VA wanted to provide those benefits to us, DOMA prevents any federal agency from recognizing married same-sex couples. DOMA denies 1,130 plus federal marital benefits to legally married same-sex couples. And as the law stands right now, Maggie cannot be buried with me at any veteran cemetery that's taken federal funding, nor can she receive the American flag that's draped over my casket at my funeral as my spouse. And this, my friends, is an injustice to all of those who have served their country bravely and have fought to protect the freedom and justice for all.
Yes.
And by the size of this crowd tonight, I know that, of course, we are not alone in facing this type of discrimination. These issues that we are fighting for will also have an impact on members of our military and their same-sex spouses when they leave the service. But I do have hope. I believe our nation is great because it is willing to recognize injustice and change for the better. In the past, our country has changed unjust policies regarding race, women, disabilities, and even veteran status. DOMA is just another unjust policy that must change. And I can't think of a better reason to fight these laws than for my wife, Maggie. They don't care if you're white or black, male or female, what uniform you're wearing, none of that. And it shouldn't matter to the country I served either. It's time, I'm going to say this again, it's time to honor all of our families, especially the families of our military and veterans, and end the Defense of Marriage Act. All married couples, including same-sex couples who served our country, the benefits that they earned. Thank you so much.
It is with great pleasure that I stand here before you, and also with great pleasure that I introduce your next speaker, Dr. Steve Krantz, the Director of PFLAG Southern Pacific Region.
It's an honor to be here. I have two sons, one straight, one gay, and I love them both. 15 years ago, my younger son came out to me as gay. I loved him then, I love him now. He's standing over there. When he told me, I cried. I cried because I feared for his safety in this world of unfairness and bigotry, where LGBT people are discriminated against for being who they are. To learn, I went to PFLAG, an organization that provides support for LGBT people, their parents, families, and friends. I learned that there are many parents, families, and friends who love their gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, and genderqueer children just as they are. And then I help others learn. Because I have two sons, one straight, one gay, and I love them both. I stand in the shadow of giants. Parents who for the last 40 years have been moving equality forward for their children. 40 years ago in New York, PFLAG's founder, Jean Manford, the mother of the straight ally movement, marched with her son Morty in the Pride Parade in New York City in Lower Manhattan. Our courage led to the founding of PFLAG with a small support meeting in Lower Manhattan. Jean's courage inspired Adele Starr here in LA in 1976 to found PFLAG Los Angeles, of which I am a member. And then in 1981, Jean, Adele, and parents from 20 other organizations came together, and under Adele's leadership, was the first president created PFLAG National. Since then, our organization has grown to include 200,000 members and supporters across the country in areas large and small, urban, rural, in all 50 states. We cut across all party lines, all races, all faiths, and we have one message: love is love. Family is family, and our LGBT loved ones are not second-class citizens. Their loving and committed relationships are not second-class relationships. And I know this firsthand because I have two sons, one straight, one gay, and I love them both. Both of my sons were blessings. And when one told me he was gay, that too was a blessing. His coming out brought into my life the most incredible people I have ever known. They were LGBT activists, as opposed to myself, a straight LGBT activist. Incredible people, incredible, because they have been terrorized by hatred most of their lives, but still standing tall, fighting back, fighting not only for themselves, but for the generations yet to come, and for the integrity of our nation, a nation founded on the principle that all are created equal. Over 4 years ago in West Hollywood, many of us stood angrily together, outraged at the passage of Proposition 8. We railed at the actions of those who would impose their bigotry on our families. Today we stand at the cusp of reversing that heinous result. As a PFLAG dad from a continent away, I call on the members of the U.S. Supreme Court, Sotomayor, Breyer, Alito, Kagan, Thomas, Scalia, Roberts, Kennedy, and Bader Ginsburg to strike down Proposition 8, to strike down DOMA. Two sons, one straight, one gay. I love them both, and I want to dance at both of their weddings. Executive Director of the Latino Equality Alliance.
At the time that Prop 8 happened, I was actually a vice president of Honor Pact. And at the time we said, we have to do something to help on the case of Prop 8. You know, we're here to do that. And so we opened an office, campaign office in East LA. It was the first time an openly gay place was in East LA. And we had an amazing support and reception from the community, which was different from the assumptions that people made. In addition to that, we became empowered. And that empowerment is true today and brought us here today. But in going back to that time period, when we didn't know who supported us, we had a number of press conferences and we had a number of people come to be there with us. And one of those people was Wendy Brewer. And she is here tonight.
historical week for us. Nervous, just like when you're nervous about getting married, right?
Yep.
When you get nervous. I don't know. Yeah. I can tell you, it's one of those things. But I standing here and actually speaking in front of City Hall means a lot, because the first marriage that I performed as an elected official, the first marriage I performed at all, was in the tower of City Hall with 2 women during that time that we were able to extend marriage. And that we are going to stand up, that this week, it's time. It is time for marriage equality. It is time for us to stand up and say everyone should be treated equal. It's time, as you said, that you can dance at either of your sons' weddings.
That's right.
I have a 9-year-old, and whatever happens with him, whatever occurs, I love him no matter who he is, LGBT or not. I love people who are going to believe in the future of our country and believe in each other. And so I was just here today, and I wanted to stop by and say, you fought and never gave up, each of you. Last night I was at an event with HRC, and so many people there are excited about what's going to happen this week. We will fight for what is right. We will fight for those that don't have a voice. We will fight to make sure that marriage equality exists. I am confident that this week we will succeed. And how can we not, when we have all of you and people across the country who said this is the right thing to do. So, we stand here today in anticipation. We stand here today in love and honor. So, I just want to say, I support marriage equality. I'm here with you. I'm so pleased to see our newest council member, openly gay council member, Mike. Thank you, and I love you all, and we're going to have a great week. And I have the pleasure of introducing Eileen Ma, the ED of API Equality California, who is joining us today.
That's right.
Love you all. We're going to win this one this week. Okay, congratulations.
Give it up one more time for Wendy Poole. Thank you. Great, so my name is Eileen Ma. I'm here representing API Equality LA. We're an organization that represents Asian and Pacific Islanders in support of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. We're thrilled to be here. There are millions of Asians and Pacific Islanders in this country, including over 1 million here in Los Angeles itself, and we include thousands of gay people here in Los Angeles, as well as thousands of binational same-sex couples who are dying to get married in order to be able to bring their partners and to keep them in this country. As an Asian American woman in a long-term relationship, I think this Supreme Court case has special resonance for me. It wasn't too long ago, maybe just a couple of generations, that myself and my partner, I'm Chinese and she's Honduran from Central America.
That's right.
That people like myself were restricted from marrying in this country and in this state because they were Latino, because they were Asian, and they experienced the same kind of discrimination that we as same-sex couples are currently experiencing. So I'm really moved that our Supreme Court is about to entertain the notion that they might rule in the same way that they did in Loving versus Perez in 1967. It struck down laws against interracial marriage, and we could have that in 2013. If this Supreme Court actually rules with us, it would be a monumental occasion, and it would really be incredibly moving for us.
Okay.
I want to say that my partner and I have been together for about 14 years, and in that time,
yeah, so I'm trying to figure out who I can give it. I'll give it to a friend of mine.
Numerous weddings of all kinds, commitment ceremonies, marriages of gay people, straight people, Asian people, non-Asian people, and what I've noticed is that there's something similar about all of them. That they're all celebrations of love and celebrations of ultimately family. And so I think marriage is ultimately about family, and I know that's true for the Asian community ultimately, that it's about bringing families together. And I just want to say that no matter what gender you are, or what orientation you are, or what
race or ethnicity, or marriage is marriage. And I think people said it before, love is love. And I hope that the Supreme Court, and I dare to hope that the Supreme Court will go with us this spring. I do hope that they'll realize that my family and all your families are the same as everybody else's and should be recognized in the same way. So thank you all for coming out tonight, and I look forward to my honor now to introduce someone from the mayor's office. It's our LGBT liaison, Mike I.
How you doing out there? My name is Mike I. I'm Mayor Antonio Viragos's LGBT liaison, and I am proud to stand here to represent the mayor and to stand with you here today, just days before a historic argument at the Supreme Court. We've come a long way since Proposition 8 passed by a narrow margin. Last May, in an unprecedented move, the President of the United States of America, President Obama, endorsed and declared his support for marriage equality. That's crazy. Last September, with Mayor Antonio Viragosa as the Democratic National Convention chair, for the first time ever in convention's history, the platform included a clear and strong message to support every American's right to the freedom to marry. And in November, after years of defeat at the ballot box, we broke through. Washington, Maryland, and Maine all extended the freedom to marry. And the people of Minnesota decisively rejected a constitutional amendment banning same-sex marriage. As we stand here today, historic marriage equality legislation is making steady progress in Rhode Island. And what started out as just a trickle of good polls now is a tsunami. According to a recent ABC News poll, 58% of Americans support same-sex marriage, and other polls have also found strong support for taking bias and bigotry out of our laws and replacing them with equality and inclusion. We are making progress. We're making progress. But the country is still a patchwork of different realities. Some states are islands of equality, but others remain bulwarks of bigotry. For this reason, our eyes are on the Supreme Court, as it takes up the cases of Proposition 8 and DOMA. I pray, and I hope you'll pray with me, that the justices listen to their higher angels, to their better angels, the angels that will sing that if we truly believe in family values, we will value all families. So the mayor said this before, and I'm going to steal this line from him. But love doesn't have a color. Love doesn't care if you're gay or straight. Love does not discriminate. We want marriage now. Thank you. My honor to introduce Porter Gilbert from the Long Beach Center. Thank you.
So I know when Proposition 8 passed in 2008, I was absolutely devastated. I remember waking up and sobbing. The first thing I did after election day was I sobbed. And then I took to the streets. And then everyone took to the streets. And we've been taking to the streets, attending rallies, phone banking, having heart-to-heart conversations for 4 years now. We have 350 people here tonight standing on the right side of the court. After Proposition 8 passed, our movement completely changed course. And we realized the way to win equality is to do something both very simple and very, very complex. We have to talk to one another. We have to talk to our friends. We have to talk to our neighbors. We have to talk to our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents. We have to come out. We have to come out if we're LGBT. We have to come out as allies. And we have to keep talking to one another. Whether or not the Supreme Court rules on the right side of equality, just by being here tonight, just by continuing those hard conversations, we are all making a difference as individuals and as a community. And as I know we're going to go around now, we're going to light some candles. We're going to light candles tonight to remember those that came before us, to remember those who no longer have a voice, and for hope for the future. And while we light those candles, we're going to hear another wonderful performance from Voices de Alabanza.
Reverend.
I apologize. We're going to have Susan Russell.
For those of you who speak English, forgive me. Basta! Es necesario que todos los políticos, que toda la gente sepan que para nosotros nuestra familia es importante. Han dicho que nuestra familia no es importante si nuestros hijos son LGBT y esto no es la verdad. Nuestros hijos son preciosos. Tenemos que hablar. Ahorita nosotros los latinos somos un grupo muy grande y tenemos un poder que nosotros no sabemos, pero hay unos que sí saben y quieren hablar por nosotros y no deben de hablar por nosotros. Para nosotros no es propio echar un hijo o una hija en la calle porque nos dicen, soy diferente. Todos estos son nuestros hijos, padres, abuelos, nietos, ahijados, niños, niñas, y nosotros los amamos. Y no es derecho que no tengan los mismos derechos civiles y respeto cultural que tiene cada otro ser en este Estados Unidos. Porque yo soy pocha, así es que no voy a decir esto bien, pero mi abuelita me dijo que Juanito, que Benito Juárez, siempre decía que la paz es el respeto al derecho ajeno. Y nosotros lo sabemos muy bien. Ojalá que en estos Estados Unidos ellos lo aprendan también, para que sepan. Yo tengo 2 hijas lesbianas. Cuando la chiquita me dijo, mamá, yo quiero las mujeres, yo salgo con las mujeres, yo sentí nomás una cosita, un poquito me pensé, bueno, yo no voy a tener nietos que parezcan a mí, ¿verdad? Con el pelito chinito. Pero lo que yo he aprendido es que la familia no es lo más biológico. Ella me ha enseñado lo que es familia. Tengo 2 nietos, tiene una esposa hermosa. Tenemos bastante familia. Nosotros que les enseñamos a los sacerdotes, a los ministros, a los políticos, todos, que ellos no dicen para nosotros quién es familia. Nosotros les decimos a ellos quién es nuestra familia y los tienen que proteger.
Good evening, my name is Attorney Dani Ramirez, and it is a privilege to be before you. We hope and pray that the United States comes out of this status of 4th world country and get with the program. Spain, Belgium, Portugal, Argentina acknowledge that partners of the same sex who love each other may marry one another. My spouse, Deputy Shauna Roseborough, serving our Los Angeles County and also as a Marine for this country. We are your neighbors. We are your daughters. We are your doctors. We are your gardeners. We are your council people. We are your attorneys. We are you. You are me. And we pray for the healing to take place because our younger brothers and sisters need to know that they are perfect just the way they are. Thank you.
Ahora vamos a tener música con voces de alabanza. We are coming to the close.
Just wait till we finish. No, you don't need to. Just a reminder, this is the end of the event. They'll be singing Alabanza from MCC, Metropolitan Community Church, their Spanish choir. So this is the conclusion of tonight's United for Marriage Los Angeles Lighting for Justice, Los Angeles.
Hey everyone. Thank you for coming out here tonight. Sure. Okay. So I'm going to be singing this song called Marry Me, and I'd love for you all to help out. I want you to just look to the person to the left, to the right to you, and you're going to sing, Marry Me. And so, thank you. So that's the chorus. So we'll practice real quick, and this is how it's going to go. I'll say, never thought of the words, whoa, marry me. Gotta fight for the words, whoa, marry me. My heart pumps the words, whoa, marry me. Okay, you got it. Sounds great. And actually, let's get really loud. So like all the fans here, all the way in Washington, D.C. Let's see as loud as we can. Okay, with your whole heart. Look this over and you're going to scream me. Go ahead. Thank you. Young girls wishing for a wedding. With the entrance about playing Major League ball. They take the house, but they sell themselves living. With me, I bounce back up from a bicycle fall. But they grown into beautiful women. With me, I've grown nearly 6 feet tall. They know just what we want now. With me, I don't know nothing at all. And it's not my fault for not having the vision. Let's play the silly long. So tell me what's your position. Never thought of the words. Marry me. Gotta fight for the words. Marry me. Pumps the words. Marry me. Who wants to be the real me?
your music, of your power and your energy. Some of our organizers are worried about the candles burning too low. I think you're grown up enough to blow it out before it burns your hand. So I've been given the best job in the world, and that's having the last word. The last word in this moment of hope, this moment of light, and this moment of power. I'm going to ask you just to be quiet for a tiny moment and listen. Do you hear it? It is the arc of history doing what Martin Luther King Jr. promised us it would do. It is bending toward justice, and you are making it happen. You are making it happen with your witness, with your work, with your candles, with your prayers, with your tears, with your stories, with your emails, with your voicemails, with your Facebook posts, with your Twitter feeds. You are a force that cannot be stopped because you are part of the great tide of the universe that bends towards justice and equality for all. We stand here today in solidarity with those throughout this great nation who are going to say yes to equality, we're going to say yes to hope, and we're going to say yes to the power that made this nation great. We're here to say that liberty and justice for all will not mean all until it includes absolutely every American. And we're here to say when we get marriage equality, we will not stop until we have transgender equity, until we have immigration, just immigration reform, the violence in our streets that are killing our children, so we take the guns away and we beat them into plowshares of justice and equality for all. We are a movement that cannot be stopped, and we are ready to move forward. I had the privilege of being in Washington, D.C. for the inauguration this year, and when I stood there on the Mall and I heard those words come out of our president's mouth, that we stand in the great arc of history with those who stood up in Seneca Falls, with those who marched in Selma, and yes, with those who stood up at Stonewall. We stand there now, and we're going to continue to stand there until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like that ever-flowing stream. So now I want to send you out into this good night with your hearts full of hope, with your light and this candle burning in your heart as we continue to go forward, absolutely committed to settling for nothing less than a protect marriage movement that protects every single marriage, and a family values movement that values absolutely every single family. God bless you all. Good night. The lucha continues. The struggle continues. Amen.
So I believe this is the formal end of tonight's United for Marriage Los Angeles, lighting the way for justice. Sorry for the quality of the live stream, as it was a last-minute addition. So thank you for the people who showed up.
You do not leave your tables here. There are trash cans right on the sidewalk. Thank you.
That was Matt, one of the co-organizers of this wonderful event. Just a reminder, this event was mostly provided and promoted by Metropolitan Community Church, as well as Matt Dada and Jane Wishen of Marriage Equality USA. Other organizations came in, and we're happy that this Southern California event came out wonderful. And now part 2 will be coming on June for Day of Decision. There are talks right now with several organizations. If you're living in the city of Los Angeles, write to your city council member and write them that you want to use the park. We had issues with attaining the park because of insurance and liability. So if you can write to your council member within Los Angeles and ask them to either waive it or provide an affordable rate, that'd be wonderful. As you can see, the park is huge, the Grand Park over here in Southern California. So if you can write to your city council member to provide that park during the Day of Decision, which will be somewhere in June, as the Supreme Court will deliberate on DOMA and Prop 8. It was a wonderful event. As you can see, a lot of news agencies came, such as KCAL, KTLA, ABC, NBC, and a few others. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, try to send something. Beautiful. Thank you for being there. Lucha316. Thank you for sending me that message. Oh, just a reminder there. This footage will be uploaded on YouTube. I will be using the hashtag UnitedforMarriageLosAngeles, lighting the way for justice. Hopefully it'll be up within either tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, so once again, I hope most of you will be able to forward this footage. Feel free to use it if you want to make a documentary or you want to respond to it. I will be posting on YouTube either tonight or tomorrow. And remind your council member to provide the park free or waived, because the park is huge and we would want to use it for the Day of Decision. Which I know a lot of people will show up, so which will be sometime in June. If you're curious about the other events, you can go online to United for Marriage Facebook page or the website about the other events happening throughout the country, such as New York, which was today as well, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., with such organizations such as Get Equal, Marriage Equality USA, Human Rights Campaign, the Gay and Lesbian Task Force, and among others. So if you have any questions, feel free to send it to either right now or via email. Yeah, so my battery's going low, so when I cut out, that means it's out. But maybe you'll be able to see some of the co-organizers here. So, and Univision, I just got confirmation Univision came in as well, so the Latino news agency demographic will be shown, so yeah. So yeah, other organizations here for the local Los Angeles chapter, we had Unite Here present, once again, Metropolitan Community Church, Colami, I believe, also showed up, Latino Equality Alliance, API Equality LA, which is Asian Pacific Islander, and a few other organizations. If you didn't see an organization that you wanted to get involved, we tried our best, but if you know them, feel free to communicate with them. We are actively searching for new members to be involved with the Day of Decision, which will be sometime in June, when the Supreme Court will deliberate on DOMA and Prop 8. So if you know an organization in Southern California who would want to get involved, feel free to send them to justice@mccla.com. Once again, justice@mccla.com. And I need to emphasize that a lot of the churches, such as MCC, the Anglican like All Saints, Lutherans United, and what have you, who are very progressive and LGBT friendly, have provided a lot of resources, especially the candles. So for this Palm Sunday, we really appreciate how the community managed to get together, and we appreciate all your assistance. So I'm trying to find somebody to talk to who are one of the coordinators. As a reminder, we had Mike Bonin, one of the only LGBT candidates within City Council, who won outright for Council District 11, as he's walking over there. And he's been a great ally, and also Ari from Latino Equality Alliance has been trying to provide services for LGBT youth over in East LA and Southgate area. I really want to show you Lucia, who's the main person who actually managed to raise her hand and say, I want to help with this. Because originally San Francisco was going to be the West Coast premier event with Cleve Jones. Southern California was not that well reported, but thankfully MCC, its Service and Justice, got involved, and this actually, if MCC had not stood up and helped organize this event, we would not have this event actually. But other than that, Jane Wishin is also an incredible individual we had, who helped us get most of the local LGBT, also national gay and lesbian queer organizations involved. There she is. Who else? And Matthew Dada, who's a freelance producer, also helped create the layout for the event. We optimized the usage of the city steps. As you notice, I was not able to take a direct shot from right at the front, because the front, as you can see, you could not move. We were originally estimating about 20-30 people showing up. As you can see, it was more than 300, 200 individuals. So we had a great turnout. Thank you to everybody who tweeted or read the articles about the rallies happening nationwide. Just a reminder, though, I am not affiliated with the national event. I am only with the local chapter. So if you want to know if they're hosting a live stream or what have you, go to their website, the national one, and they'll have links to either their Facebook pages or their websites. And hopefully they'll have some live streaming for those events. Once again, I'll be posting this online either tonight or tomorrow. #UnitedforMarriageLA, lighting for justice. So, and feel free to use this footage for documentary, or you want to respond, that'd be great. Actually, excuse me.
Yes.
So I'm doing a live stream. Could you tell me about your event you're having?
Oh, here? Right now?
Yep. You're with Equality California, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. One of the co-sponsors for this event. What event are you promoting?
Here?
Yeah.
This one? This is an LGBTQ4. It's on youth, families, and community services. They're going to be doing some stuff like talking about where to go for healthcare and things of that sort, community support, things of that nature.
And where's the event at?
It's going to be in Boyle Heights.
Is this with the Latino Equality Alliance as well?
Yes, it is.
So there you go. Community LGBT organizations collaborating with each other. So if you want to know more information, just go Health Happens here.
Yeah, it's actually, You can go to facebook.com, Boyle Heights LGBTQF Forum. So, there you go.
There you go. So if you're in downtown, go for it.
Yeah, they
East
have,
LA.
you register at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. for the program, 11 a.m. workshops, 12:30 lunch and entertainment, and 2 p.m. workshops. So,
all right.
Should be pretty good.
Awesome. Thank you. So I will try to get a friend from Latino Equality Alliance. They're the Latino organization within the LGBT community that has been very progressive, trying to provide services to the Latino community in East LA in the Southgate area. So let me see if I can get him or somebody from the co-organizers. Another thing is it was not scheduled to have Wendy Gruhl. Wendy Gruhl came because earlier today there was the Stonewall Democrat, I think dinner or lunch fundraiser. So a lot of that's why we had not that many people from the office from the city here. They were over at the Stonewall Democrats, but we did have the city LGBT liaisons who managed to come. So yeah. Well, there's Lucia. She is the mastermind, so let me just provide her some. Hey, Lucia.
How you doing?
Do you have any words for the viewers watching right now?
I am just so thrilled about how many people came out tonight. It is so fantastic. And it's really, I know that it's an omen for what's going to be happening the whole rest of the week. It's going to be fantastic. We are really on a roll, everybody.
Can you tell them a bit about what a first meeting we had back a month ago?
Oh my gosh. Well, we met, I think there were only about 6 of us. And I wondered how things were going to work out. I really did. And we had visions. Just a minute, I'm being interviewed. Pardon me.
Pardon me.
We had visions. We were going to do Grand Park and have a huge picnic. Yeah, they're across the street. But there were all kinds of problems and permits and this and that, and we boiled it down until we got it to something that I think was exactly right. You know, we came up with the event that we were supposed to have, and still surpassed everybody's expectations. We had people saying, "Oh, maybe you'll have a couple of dozen people. That's the most you'll have is a couple of dozen people." We had 400 people here tonight. 400 people. Nobody believed it. Nobody believed it.
Which is incredible. As I recorded the event, there was hardly any way to move around. I had to wiggle myself out here and there.
And it was almost over, and they were still coming. People were still coming. I was getting text messages from people across the street saying the people are still coming in. It's a fantastic night. They tell you can't do it in LA, but you can do it in LA.
Just one last question, and it's being to do with Lucia, with how.
It's awesome. Hey, my pal is interviewing me.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I love you. Thank you for your help.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you. My volunteers, my wonderful
Do you want your
volunteers.
sign back?
No, you can keep it as a souvenir.
I will. I'm sick that way.
No, I rode the train.
This is actually a wonderful segue. How involved Metropolitan Community Church got? So originally there was not a scheduled event had MCC not raised their hand.
No, and it was just because they put out the call and said they wanted to have events all over the country leading up to the Supreme Court. And I said, hey, we've got a place people can meet. Who's organizing? And they said, you're organizing. So it was kind of crazy, but it came together. We met at the church. A lot of people from the church have been involved. We had the chorus from Ecclesia Comunidad Metropolitan. They sang for us tonight. It's really been fantastic. It really has.
And we thank you, Lucia, for all your commitment and volunteership, and hopefully we'll have a second one during the day of decision back in June.
Who's the first person I called when I said, oh my God, I've gotten myself into this? I called Nestor.
And that's me recording right now, so yeah. So here we go. So it was nice talking to you, Lucia.
Thank you so much, Nestor. Thank you. And we'll put our pictures together and put them all up on your Ustream, okay?
Yeah, and I'll upload the footage to YouTube tonight or tomorrow morning.
Excellent.
Awesome. All right.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
All right.
Take care.
Take care. So my footage, my battery is almost low, so I'm trying to find any of the other organizers before my battery dies out. So Jane Wishon, she just left, I believe, but I think I can get Matthew Dada and just a slight little conversation. So here's City Hall. Matt, can I ask two questions?
Yes.
Can I ask how did you organize this event? Or how hectic was it for you with your schedule?
I mean, it's like doing anything involves balancing your time between a bunch of things. The mayor's office was really helpful with everything in making this happen. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
And what's your passion behind this? Why did you get involved in volunteering, considering you have a busy schedule?
Somebody told me recently, somebody tried to get me to join an organization, and I was like, I don't really have the time. And when I read JoeMyGod.com, and when he put out the call based on Get Equal and marriage equality, I decided to use my gifts in producing events and music videos to help the cause. Something that I've supported for a very long time, but trying to find the time to help has always been difficult.
And we really appreciate your volunteership, and hopefully we'll have a day of decision, and you might be able to help us with that.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Cheers.
You, Thank you.
So, Jane Wishon was the third person who helped organize this event. Actually, she was the one who did the liaisons for all the major local LGBT issues organizations, I meant. But I believe she left. I can see her actually. So I'll just say hi to her. And unless my battery dies, then obviously that's not going to really work. So, but as you can see, the crowd has thinned out. Signs, candles, and all that. So, but once again, we were on the west steps of City Hall, and if you need to use any of this footage, feel free to use it. Or if you want to respond, anything, I will post this on YouTube eventually, tonight or tomorrow. Hashtags will be United for Marriage, Los Angeles, lighting the way for justice. Okay. I believe she's busy, so although you can see NBC right now is interviewing one of the people that was present at the candle vigil. So this is Jane Wishon from Marriage Equality USA. How I understand you were busy. You had a personal matter you had to attend to, and you were not involved initially, but we were very supportive with you, and we really appreciate your help and time and during your difficult period.
Yeah, my mother was very ill and in the hospital in Dallas, so I had to go to Dallas. So I wasn't part of the original organizing meetings on this, but when I got back, I got involved, and with Lucia and your help, Nestor, and Matthew's help, I think we pulled together a pretty good event.
And could you remind us why were you involved with the LGBT marriage equality? How did you get involved?
Well, I didn't used to support marriage equality. I'm a straight ally, and I've been married now 36 and a half years. I thought that marriage was between a man and a woman, just like the color red is red, not because I wanted the gay community to not have any rights or something, but simply because in my head that's what the definition was. So in 2008, my husband and I were sitting and watching the news, and he's the one who pointed out to me how inherently false separate but equal is. That if people are indeed equal, then it needs to not be separate, it needs to all be the same. And so I got involved. When Prop 8 passed, I got angry that my wonderful state of California had written discrimination into its constitution. I got involved in trying to repeal Prop 8. I'm a volunteer, but I'm on the board of Marriage Equality USA, national board. And I've been the LA lead on these things for a couple of years here in Los Angeles County.
And we appreciate your help, and I know I'm going to invite you to my wedding reception.
I can't wait. I can't wait to go to a whole bunch of weddings when this gets fixed.
All right. It was nice talking to you, and hopefully you have a good night. And good. All right. Cheers. So, yeah, those were the three main organizers for tonight's event. You want to say something? I'm live streaming. This is Taylor Harless. He's from Unite Here, and you came in solidarity for marriage equality. Maybe you want to mention what's happening right now at Unite Here?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is we're waiting with bated breath for the Supreme Court to do the right thing finally. It means so much to so many people that I know, people that have mentored me in our union, the Hotel Workers Union, and our members and their families. And, regardless of what happens this week, whether it's good news or bad news, we're standing together, and we're gonna fight until we win what we need for ourselves and the people we love.
And it's great seeing you here, and thank you for coming out with support. All right, cheers. So yeah, my battery is almost out. So once I know I've been mentioning it like 3-4 times, but we really encourage people to use this footage. Respond any questions you have on YouTube, and if try to tell your local organizations about the problems about marriage equality. Sometime in June, the Supreme Court will deliberate on marriage equality, and hopefully they'll choose the right side of justice. Ironically, I think Scalia was the one who mentioned that citizens need to have a certain amount of civic courage. And as tonight has shown, the LGBT community or the queer community has shown in force in a peaceful manner that we do not want to be separate class, second class or separate class of citizens. We want the same rights. On a low point, as my battery is going to end, today also was the same day for anti-marriage marches all across France. In Paris, there were a lot of incidences and homophobic attacks to a lot of LGBT community members while going down to Champs-Élysées, I believe. And that was a sad, ironic turn of events considering it's Palm Sunday. And in France, a very Catholic country, though very secular at the same time, there were marches all across the French Republic making it a point, a homophobic phrase that a man and a woman can only have a child. While in the United States, we're lighting candles and showing support that, the justices will support and end the ban on same-sex marriage. So that's all I have to say. My battery's about to die. And you can see the skyline of Los Angeles and the park. Once again, write to your council members, tell them to waive the fee or provide us an affordable rate for the usage of Grand Park on a day decision sometime in June. All right, it was nice having you people on here. All right, take care. Bye.